I feel like the Serie A every season, it's a roller coaster of a league. Teams on the rise, teams dropping off. Listen, this top four battle is one to be remembered. The Scudetto race, it's one to be remembered. You've got 3 teams competing for the Scudetto going into the final few months. You've got 6 teams competing for top 4. And the crazy thing is, you could really make a case. Every single one of them can get it. The gap is small. Every single one of those squads is talented. It's got the players that can win them games like we've seen in periods of the Serie A campaign. I was sat literally for half an hour. I couldn't figure out what my prediction would be because there's strengths, there's weaknesses. I can fight every single one of these teams' cases for them to break into the top 4. So, listen, it was a tough ask. There's some hot takes, like there's some wild ones. Like, let's just say, if I was sat watching this video and I heard my opinion, I'd be thinking this might be one of the dumbest Arabs I've ever seen on YouTube. But listen, before everything, just take it with a pinch of salt. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's get into it. In 9th place, I've got Vincenzo Italiano's Bologna. I feel like, he's definitely flavor of the month at the moment. Everything about Bologna, the project, the rise, the fact that they literally outperforming last season's wonder season by Thiago Motta. Bologna, they're on the rise. Bologna, they've just beaten Lazio 5-0. They are a team that's full of motivation, that's full of hunger. They are a team that they're sensing an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to get back to a level or to reach a level that they've truly aspired. Vincenzo Italiano, this is a dude, no matter where you've put him, he's always punched above his weight. He's like, the best way for me to put it is he's always defied odds. Whenever he's been given a job where either it's a sinking ship or it's a ship that's lost life, he brings life. He brings energy. You look at his time at Spezia. You look at his time at Fiorentina. His time at Fiorentina earned him the move to Bologna. And what he's currently doing at Bologna, like last season, Thiago Motta was the flavor of the season for what he done at Bologna. Do you know how crazy it is for this Bologna team to go on and lose Calafiori, to go on and lose Joshua Zirkzee, and then Vincenzo Italiano steps in, and you could really make a case. He's outperforming last season's achievements. It says a lot. When you lose your 2 best players and you still manage to replicate, if not do better than the previous campaign, listen, it's a testament to Vincenzo Italiano. But listen, having said all of that, I've got them coming 9th. I know. It sounds crazy. I've just sat and praised the life out of him. I've got them coming 9th. I'll be honest with you guys. I feel like they've been stitched up. The month of April and the month of A, it's horrible to Bologna. In the month of April, they literally play Napoli, Atalanta, Inter 3 weeks in a row. Game after game after game. And then it gets worse. In May, they've got Juve, Milan, Fiorentina 3 weeks in a row. I'll be honest with you guys. There's only 9 games to go in this area. 6 of those games are against tough teams with good players. And all 6 of those teams are playing for something. I'm not saying Bologna won't win any of those games or they won't put up a good fight. I'll be real. I just think the month of April is going to cause so much damage to Bologna. You're coming up against 3 teams. Like, during the business end of the season, you don't want to come up against a team fighting relegation. This is a team that's hungry. This is a team that's fighting for its life. Imagine coming up against 3 teams fighting for the Scudetto. Do you know how crazy that is? You've got one manager trying to defy the odds in Antonio Conte. You've got Gasperini trying to win his first major honour in Italy. Then you've got Simone Inzaghi trying to go back-to-back, and they are currently the best team in Calcio. I feel like the month of April is going to do so much damage to Bologna. So for that reason, I've got them 9th. Now this one pains me to say. Claudio Ranieri, your time is up. Your time is next. I've got them 8th. Everything about them, from the fact that they've got the most points in the top 5 leagues since 2025, the football, he's walked in, he's steadied the ship, he's stabilized it, he's just put players in their right positions and told them, go out there and do what you do best. But I feel like their run towards the end of the season is brutal. It's tough. Fair enough, they've got 1 game a week. But as much as I love Claudio Ranieri, as much as I love the type of football that he's got this Roma team playing, where they're going out there and just playing off intuition. They've got freedom to express themselves in defense, in midfield, in attack. he's practically given Dybala the keys in that central area. You are my architect. Go out and orchestrate. There's talent, there's quality. For the simple reason, I just looked at their remaining fixtures and I was like, these games are tough. Similar to what I said about Bologna. You're coming up against teams that are fighting for something. Roma, it's a talented squad, but for me, it's not the most talented. For me, it can lack penetration at times in the final third. For me, Roma without Dybala is a very, very, very weak Roma. Like, when he starts, I have hope they'll win. When he doesn't start, I do worry for them. The fact that they've still got Juve, Lazio, Inter, Fiorentina, Atalanta, and Milan, like, let's be real, 6 out of their remaining 9 games are difficult. And because of that, I've got them coming 8th. In 7th spot, we've got Sergio Conceição's Milan. This one was tough, only because I've seen the good, I've seen the bang average, and I've seen the bad of Milan this season. The one thing that I will always give this Milan team is they've got players, I'll be real. And I feel like maybe that's why this season has been frustrating for so many people, because it's a team that's got ballers. Like, it's actually got a team where if the players decide, I want to lock in and I want to win this game, they can. I've seen Rafa Leao do it. I've seen Reinders do it. I've seen Christian Pulisic do it for the whole season. But at the same time, they've got players that have lapses in concentration. The team, the system, tactically, it exposes this team in its most fragile of areas. I don't feel like they've got the most difficult end to the season, but I feel like they might reach a stage in the campaign where they're like, listen, our season, it's been a car crash. Like, it's been a horrible campaign. You look at them, like, fair enough, they won the Supercoppa, but like the way they were knocked out in the Champions League, the way their form in the Serie A has dropped off. You look at the time Fonseca had, then the time that Conceição had. They might reach a stage in the season where they're like, listen, in order to salvage this season, in order to give the fans something to remember, why not win 2 domestic cups? And I feel like they might come a stage in the period where they're like, listen, our priority are the 2 games against Inter. On top of everything, they've still got Napoli, Fiorentina, Atalanta, Bologna towards the end of the season. They've got tough games, and these tough games are going to be partnered by a midweek game against Inter. There's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad about this Milan team. The one thing, if I wanted to describe their whole season, it's been a very inconsistent campaign. From player performances, from manager tactics, from the manager in charge, from board decisions. It's been an inconsistent campaign. Because of that, I've got them finishing 7th. Palladino, you are next. 6th place for Fiorentina. That project for me is so exciting. I'll be honest. Like, for me, the most exciting project probably in Serie A for me is probably Como. Fiorentina's is up there. Palladino, young coach. Listen, he steps up to Fiorentina. He's revolutionized that team. You look at the football that they're playing. It's direct, it's energetic, it's dynamic. You look at the players. They've signed players that are wounded animals. Players that were either deemed surplus to requirements at their previous employers, like David De Gea. Young players like Fajoli, Moise Kean, that Emir Richardson kid, what a baller. I feel like next season will be his campaign. Young players, hungry, motivated, but on top of everything, it looks like a happy camp. It looks like a camp where the players are hungry, the players want to play for one another. There's chemistry between them and the manager and the players on the pitch. I just look at them and tell myself, will there reach a period of the season where you begin to favour the Conference League over the Serie A? Because I feel like they might look at the gap and breaking into the top 4 and tell themselves, listen, a European trophy is so much more important than top 4. Fair enough, financially, you might gain more. But listen, the point of football is to win. You want the trophy. And they're in a competition where, for me, they must reach the final. Like, I'll be real. Conference League final must be Chelsea and Fiorentina. I've looked at the other teams, and I'm not impressed by them at all. I just feel like there's going to be a period of the season where they will start to favour the Conference League. And for that reason, Serie A games will be a game for them to rotate, for them to give players a rest. They do still have some tough games. Like, we're talking Atalanta, Milan, Roma, Bologna towards the end of the campaign, whilst also playing a game every Thursday. For that reason alone, I wouldn't be surprised if Palladino just maybe in a month turns around and says the priority is Conference League. We're going to go all out for it. And for that reason, I've still got them coming 6th, which is a very, very, very good position. Up next, the team, I got spanked 5-0. Baroni's Lazio. I got them coming 5th. I feel like what he's done this season is so impressive. And I feel like it's gone under the radar because there's so many other exciting projects in the Serie A. But I feel like as a manager, when you look at the fact that he's practically made the step up from Lecce and Verona, he's shown I belong at a top club. I belong at a team playing European football. I belong for a team competing for major honours. I belong at a team that's competing for top 4. I just feel like their biggest Achilles will be the fact that they still have to play every Thursday. And it's a competition I can see them going far in. And because of that, similar to Fiorentina, they might reach a period of the season where Baroni looks at this team and says, listen, I want to go for the trophy. And the funny thing is, you win the Europa League, you get an automatic entry into the Champions League. So there might be a period of that season where I feel like, and I don't blame him for this at all, where he's like, listen, I want to put all my eggs in the Europa League basket. We are going to prioritize the Thursday night game. We are going to use the weekend game to rotate. Because of that, I can see them dropping points. They do also have some tough games. They still got the top 2. They've still got 2 out of the top 3. They've still got Atalanta. They've still got Inter. They've got Roma and Juve in the month of May. Fair enough, it's at home. Tough games, tough opposition. Teams playing for something. But I just feel like the priority will be Europa League. And because of that, there will be a drop-off. But still, a humble 5th spot. And 4th spot goes to, drumroll, Thiago Motta's Juventus. Now, this is going to sound crazy because I feel like Thiago Motta has shown he's not really too ready to handle a job the size of Juventus. I've questioned whether or not the players get along with him, whether or not he gets along with players. And when he doesn't get along with players, how he goes about things, isolating them and just throwing them out on the side. It's not the best of looks. It sends the wrong messages. There's a lot wrong internally in the changing room. There's a lot wrong internally at board level at Juventus. But the one thing that remains a fact, Juventus have actually got the games on their side. Juventus, their remaining 9 games in this area, all they have is Roma, Bologna, and Lazio. All of the other games are winnable. And I'll be so honest, out of all of the teams that they're competing against, number 1, they're in a very good position. It's not like they have a lot of points to make up. 2, they've got 1 game a week. It's not like they've got the Coppa Italia or they've got the Conference League or they've got the Europa League or they're competing for a Scudetto. Juventus' season is now try and get top 4. That's it. 0 distractions. I've looked at their fixtures. Thiago Motta, I completely understand why now he's being kept in the job because it's a catch-22. Either you let him go in hope of bringing in somebody that can rally the troops and get them over the finish line and get top 4, or you just let Motta finish the project that he started, and maybe, just maybe, these remaining 9 games are Motta's audition to everybody, to the fans, to the board, to the players. You've got 9 games. You're in a very good position in terms of league position, in terms of points, in terms of opposition, like the fixtures. There's a lot of things going in his favour. And on top of that, as much as the squad might have underperformed, there's good players in that squad. It's a very similar case to Milan where the players have underperformed. Fair enough, we can blame tactics, we can blame setup. But this is now your opportunity to put the players in the right place. Thiago Motta, for me, is a specialist in misprofiling. How he's literally got players playing in the wrong position. He's got 9 games. Put the players in the right area. Play a style of football that suits their strengths. And the games are there for the taking. The games are there to be won. Roma, Bologna, Lazio, Juve, in my opinion, must get top 4. They must get top 4. If they don't, I would completely understand the fans' frustration. I would completely understand Thiago Motta being sacked, especially when you bear in mind the position he's in, the end to the season. For me, it's not even a debate. I'll be so honest. For me, Juventus, they must get top 4. I understand football. It's a game of momentum. I understand that when things aren't going too well, you could literally lose. To 20th in the league. Football's a game of momentum. It's a game of morale. It's a game of confidence. Confidence has been drained out of that squad. You've got a 2-week international break. Then you've got 2.5 months of the season. Your job as a coach is to instill that confidence, to instill that motivation. This is Thiago Motta's audition. And the crazy thing is, he might get top 4 and still be sacked. The point is, The games are on his side. Juventus, for me, will get top 4. Now, if you're new, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to let me know your predictions in the comments. And I'll catch you guys on another one.